So, forgot to give you a faith update as well. I'm not doing very well. Like, I shouldn't laugh. I'm not doing very well. I'm not. I am feeling more and more distant. I know it's just on me. It's me. I don't know whether or not I'm scared of reconnecting, because I feel like, I don't know whether I feel like God's purpose right now for me is big and I'm just not ready to take that step, or what it is. Like, as you guys know, been made redundant, for those that didn't, have been gallivanting since April, and we're now in December. I've also I have been doing interviews. I'm in final stage interviews. Still waiting for results from that. They said they were really positive. It was positive, but they weren't going to get back to me until January because annual leave and timings, etc. Anyway, I digress. So because of that, I'm also like, don't get it twisted, because I'm also thinking this is YouTube and it goes worldwide. But the company's great, and I'm not just saying that, it genuinely is. But I don't know if it's something, I don't know if it's what I want to get back into. I know that I'm good at what I do. I know that, and like I generally know my space. I know my industry very well. I know my role very well. I'm able to bring a lot to it. But is my heart in it? I don't know. And I think I'm in this conflicted space where I'm like, I don't know whether or not it's what God wants me to do. It might be that this is another stepping stone. I'm going to learn something else. And I'm here to absorb that and gain those skills, because the next role is a bigger role than what I've been doing before. But at the same time, I'm just like, I want to do something that's going to help, or at least give me the excitement, you know, where I'm just like, yeah, another day. Let's get it. Let's go. And I just don't feel that's going to happen. And I feel like that might be the case with me just working for someone in general. Obviously, I haven't actually, like, you guys don't actually know this because you're going to see them when you see them, but I haven't released any YouTube videos yet. So at the moment, I'm just doing, like, a huge content download, let's call it that, like literally just talking. One, just kind of getting into the swing of things, getting comfortable talking to a camera. Hi. And talking to myself for the most part. But I'm just trying to create a lot of content and see whether or not it's something that I could do, right? And eventually I'll just start drip feeding them out and see what happens. And I just want to have like a library of content that I can just pull and drop. And obviously, as I'm kind of doing that, obviously I'll be creating more because I'll be going through more stuff because this is my life and I live here. Hey. So, you know, I just want to be doing it bit by bit and seeing if it's something that I could actually do and get into. Because I like the idea of this. This idea is great. But at the same time, I know what else it comes with. Like, if you're successful in this space, I kind of know what that looks like. I know the good looks amazing, but the bad also looks pretty bad. So, you know, I want to make sure that I'm prepared for that. And maybe it is just putting myself out there and see what happens, because no one might listen to these. This generally might be a thing that everyone's like, what is this girl doing? What's she saying? Why is she here? I hope not. I really hope not. But, you know, if it is, then at least I tried. No one can say I didn't. Do you know what I mean? You got to give it a go at the end of the day. But yeah, then the other part of me is like, I love the freedom that comes with this. You know, it's working in your own time. It's, you know, experiencing things, meeting new people. Hopefully we get some sponsorships going on. Come on. Hopefully we get some collaborations and, you know, more people in the room, and I don't know, different venue, who knows, studio, girl can dream. But yeah, you know, I don't know. And I think there's a lot of things that I've gone through, and you guys will learn about me more and more and more, that I feel could help people. You know, a couple of my friends are always saying, V, like, the advice you've given us has really helped, and like, you come from a very vulnerable space. And I think that's one thing that I remember I tried to do this before, and I remember I sent the video to a friend of mine, shout out Eladan, and he literally said no. like in terms of the content, no, because you are telling people what they should and shouldn't do. And I remember I sat with that for a little bit because I thought, yeah, who am I? Who am I? In all honesty, who am I to tell people what they should and shouldn't do? Like, I am not perfect. I'm definitely not God. And I've made some awful mistakes in my life. And a lot of people are entitled to make their own decisions. And me sitting here and saying, you shouldn't do this and don't do this and don't do this, that's not going to help people, right? And I started to think about, okay, when I talk and connect with people, like in real life, in our real life, what do you call it? What does that look like? Because I get through to people in real life, but what does that look like? It looks like Vanessa being vulnerable. It looks like me opening up and saying, I've gone through this and I've made this mistake and I'm not perfect. And this is what I've learned. And this is how I got through it. And this is why I don't do X, Y, and Z anymore. And it's great on a one-to-one basis. Don't get it twisted because I know who I'm talking to, right? But then when you do this on camera, there are lots of people out there, that I have no idea, never will know, never will meet, and will know about me. And that is terrifying. Like, it's terrifying. You guys might be listening to me and like, you don't like me. There might be trolls up in these comments. I have no idea. And it's like, how do you handle that? How do you handle opening up a part of yourself, a huge part of yourself, with strangers in the hopes that you're going to help them and relate to them and let them know that they're not alone in this. You ain't alone in this. But at the same time, protecting yourself, right? Now, part of me goes, worst case scenario, we just turn it off. We just turn off the internet. Turn it off. So if your phone stops working, it's because I pulled the plug, right? No, but it's like, just remove it. But at the same time, we know what the internet's like. The internet be out there forever, yeah? We've seen a few people that's doing some stuff and their stuff is circulating, and sometimes it's yearly, and it's a yearly reminder of what this person's done and who they are. And that kind of stuff's scary because you think to yourself, like, especially when you're trying to bring positivities and good vibes, you don't want to be misconstrued in a bad way. You don't want it to come across and everyone's like, oh yeah, she's the girl that did da 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 da. And then you turn into a meme and you're just a and that's all they see, or a gif or something, and that's all you are. You wouldn't want that. No one wants that. Like, I'll be seeing it sometimes like, oh, thank God that's not me. And then I'm literally putting myself in a place right now that could be me. Guys, don't do it to me, please. Don't do it, please. But you don't, that's not what you want it to be. So it makes you scared, and sometimes it stops you from putting yourself out there because you're worried about that. But then the other part of me is like, respectfully, if one person, and this is, and I know you hear it a lot, but if one person gets something from something that I'm saying, then it's definitely worth it. And and the reason why I'm saying that is because I have a few people in my actual life that have received something from me and have run with it, or they now see things slightly differently, or they've changed a slight behavior or something that they've done based on the advice I've given them, and it's helped them. And it feels great. It feels great to be able to, make that kind of impact in someone's life. So, and for you to see them save themselves from making a bigger mistake down the line because I've made it. And that's I'll always be honest with you guys. I have made so much mistakes, so many mistakes, so many. All in the name of love. All in the name of love. No, it's definitely not. Some are, yeah, 100%. I think most women on this planet have a desire to be married. Most women want to be in a beautiful relationship. Most people do. Forget just women. People in general want to be in a committed relationship. Like, it generally says in the Bible, it's not good for women. It's not good for man to be alone. It's because I had women on my mind. But yeah, it's not good for man to be alone. It says that in the Bible. So we know that inherently we are not supposed to be by ourselves. And that might not be generally be in a relationship, but as a human, we're not supposed to be isolated. So, and that's what made COVID period awful, because a lot of us were isolated. I was isolated throughout COVID, and one day I'll post a video of the video that I made during COVID, and I think it was just me crying, like just me being like, guys, help me. Like, it was awful. I was faced with myself. There was no distractions. And when you're someone that is used to escapism, you know, and uses escapism to escape their problems, which a lot of us do, and that's taken away from you, and you're just faced with yourself, baby girl, you got a lot of work to do, you know. And it's not easy. It's still not easy. Sometimes I'm looking at myself now and I'm like, I thought losing weight would solve all my problems. It has not. I thought losing all the weight would find me a husband quick. It has not. It has not. If anything, I'm attracting more attention, and it's harder to sift through, because now you're getting attention maybe for the right reason, but also for the wrong reason, or maybe just because you look a certain way or whatever, you know. And I think the worst thing now is that people look at me and they assume I'm going to be a type of way, but because I have big girl's personality, then they're like, oh, who is this person? This person's different, you know, I wasn't expecting her. So then they get more interested, which is great, but then you're doing this with the wrong people, and then you get yourself caught up into Lululand, as my last video said, with someone that doesn't appreciate who you are and what you've gone through and the struggles that you've had to face, you know, and how far you've come. And that's tough. That is tough. That's a whole nother challenge that I didn't foresee. But you learn, you know, and we learn to maneuver that. And I think that's the other thing that I'm having to learn right now, is not to entertain everyone. And I think part of me, I think my friend literally said it to me. He's like, Vanessa, you've got no type. You've got no type. And he was like, any guy that you've spoken to is completely different from the next. And it's not saying that I don't have a type, you know, like physically. Like, of course I've got preferences, but I don't have a type. I like to go for people's personality. Like, I'm thinking about, who do I want to sit with in 70 years time on the doorstep in a rocking chair, looking at our grandkids and bossing joke while, you know, our grandkids are falling over and we're all taking the piss out of them, right? Like, I want to know who that person's going to be, right? So I go for personality big time. Like, me, it's huge. Like, I need someone I can talk to. I need someone I can banter with. Like, that is A1. And then obviously the faith side, like, I need to make sure that we are aligned spiritually as well, because when life gets hard, I don't need you giving me just your own solutions. I need you going to God and being like, praying with me that God will help us both, you know, because God is, at the end of the day, the only answer for me. So yeah, and going back to this faith update, I have been so distant, like stupid distant. And I think it's because I'm experiencing a lot of disappointment. I feel lost. I don't know what to do. And I'm probably, all my Christian girls are going to be like, go pray, like talk to God. It's easier said than done sometimes. I'll be very honest with you. You know, sometimes I start and then I get frustrated, and it's because I'm not getting the answers that I want in the time frame that I want, right? There's been times where I've prayed and I have had an instant answer. And there's other times where I pray and I hear nothing. And right now I feel like I'm in this nothing space, you know? And it's sad. It is sad because it's hard, because I know that he's the only way that I'm going to get out of this. And I try to get myself in that mindset to do it, and then I don't, and then I distract myself with social media. I'm telling you, this thing has been the bane of my existence these last few months. The bane of my existence. I've been so absorbed in social media, so absorbed, and it's so unhealthy. Oh my goodness, like, so unhealthy. Like, this thing is dictating my emotions. Like, I am not someone, and my friends will tell you, I'm not someone that sits here and does indirects. I don't do any of that. Like, I'll pre it, find the fun in whatever, and then, you know, might post a couple things, and that's it. And I think more so when I was working, I didn't have time for any of this. So I would I would hardly be on my phone. Now, I'm on my phone all the time. And then I'm finding stuff, and especially because obviously, like the relationship thing, I think this thing reads your thoughts. Am I stupid? Like, it actually reads your thoughts, or it's listening to me anyway. Because then all of a sudden, these targeted things come up, and it's like, oh, find yourself a man that communicates. And I'm like, yeah, find yourself a man that communicates, because this idiot isn't communicating. And then I'm like, post. And then I get, oh, you're going through something. I'm like, I'm not even in a relationship to be going through something. I'm not going through anything with a man. I'm not going through anything. Like, the most I'm going through is my ex has popped up. And we know we're not compatible. Like, we know it's just not going to happen. We're friends. I say friends loosely. We get along. It wasn't a nasty breakup, but at the same time, you know, I think we're both in that mindset where we're ready to settle down. And I think he knows what it was like with me, and I feel comfortable with him. So sometimes, like, you want to be, it feels like more home, you know? I was with him for 5 years. It was a long time. So you feel like you need to go home almost, but it doesn't work, because then when you're back together, you know why it ended, you know? It's a reminder of why it ended. Not to mention he's not on board with this journey, which a lot of men are not, by the way. Telling a man that you that sex is off the table is hilarious. It filters out men very quickly. And you know people's true intentions. And I'm sure the guys that do stick around, I wouldn't be surprised if they are trying to get their, their kicks before they try to take me seriously, because they know what I'm about. So, and that's also sad to think, to be honest. But who knows? Who freaking knows? And then I'm like, oh, church men. Some of you church boys are the worst. The worst. I can't lie. Some of the experience I've had with church boys, some of the worst ones. And the worst thing is that you be thinking, oh, but they go to church. I mean, so do I, shit. And I'm not perfect either. But yeah, I don't know. Those ones, I think, do you know what it is? When you have a church guy, I feel like you let your guard down a little bit more, because you're like, oh, church, he goes to church, like, praise, he's a good man, he goes to church. They're the ones that you need to get a little bit more wiser with. Like, you need to keep your guard up as well, and don't let that be a thing as to why you drop your guard. Just don't do it. Pray about it, and get them to pray about it. Anytime I've met a church boy, I've said, I want you to pray. I said, I want you to pray for us. I want you to put God in the center of it. And every time they've put God at the center of it, God has cut it off, just like that. And it's better, because then I don't get hurt. It's disappointing, of course, we know this. Disappointment is going to be like the theme of 2023, not 2024, because we're going to pray for bigger things. But yeah, it is a disappointment. So get them to pray it. And this is advice to you girls: when you meet yourself a church boy, get him to pray. Say, you go to church? Yeah? You love God? Amazing. Pray for us. Pray for us right now. Like, out loud. I want to hear it. Let's stand together in prayer. And you pray that God is at the center of this relationship. And you will see what happens. And mark my words, God will be at the center of that relationship. And he will make sure that guy's either there or he removes him. And that's another prayer that I always pray. God, if he's not right, just get rid of him. Remove him from my life. And all of a sudden these red flags start coming up, or something happens, or I learn something, or all of a sudden this guy that you were talking to, you find out he was dating someone else. I mean, date whoever you want, but just leave me alone. Leave me alone. You know, I find that some men, they just like to keep Vanessa around because they're just like, oh, she's a good egg, but I'm not ready for that, or I'm not ready to be the person that she needs me to be. And that's the unfair ones, you know, because you're thinking to yourself, you're not ready to act right with me. Leave me alone. Leave me for my husband to find, please, because you are just wasting my time. And it's my bad for entertaining it. I think I'm learning a lesson through this as well. Don't get it twisted. And I shouldn't be entertaining every bit of conversation. But there's a part of me that is too soft to say no. I can say no if I'm not attracted, or, you know, if I'm really not interested, or you're giving me like rude boy vibes, or you're coming with attitude, or whatever it is that some of these men think their Riz is. Riz, keep them down with the kids. Oh yeah. Think their game is, you know. And those ones, miss me. But the ones that come proper and they want to get to know me and they come polite, sometimes I don't think there could be something. But then I think you run with that narrative of, you know, sometimes your husband's the person that you least expect. So I think because of that, I then entertain people that I wouldn't necessarily go for or necessarily be interested in, because you just never know. You might catch a vibe in real life and then, you know, it's a different situation entirely. So I think that's also why, but it's tough. It's tough out here. So all my single girls, listen, no, I love you. I'm here for you. I totally get it. I really get it. And if we do well on this platform, like, I would love to have something where we could all get together, honestly. giant slumber party. But generally vibes like that. Like I would love that, where all my girls can come together. We can all sit there. We can all cry together, eat ice cream together, have popcorn. No, I'm joking. Let's turn up. What? Are you crazy? Like, we single, we look fine. Like, we're going to enjoy ourselves for reals. But also there'll be ice cream and popcorn there as well, just for those moments. Yeah. But it would be nice to have like a genuine gathering where all the girls get together and feel safe to share and open up and support each other. I think at this age, it's really hard to find people that want actual friendships and are not just trying to get something from you. So, and it's not always about partying. Sometimes it's just girls getting together and enjoying vibes. So we have to find like a massive Airbnb or something, like a massive villa. We could even take it abroad. We could go on holiday. How sick would that be? Girls trip. And have like activities and stuff and games. Okay, before I get too excited. But yeah, if you guys are on to that, subscribe, like, follow. You know I don't like saying that, but do it. And then comment as well and tell me that you're on it. Because then if that's the case, I don't know how we would organise a mass. It'd have to be like a ticketed event, do you think? I need to talk to someone. If you have ideas, drop them too. Like, talk to someone or get a villa, tickets, maybe spaces, wait lists. I don't know, because I'd want everyone there. I wouldn't want someone to be like, oh, I really wanted to come, but I couldn't have space. That would be really sad. Could we do it in a hotel? If there was enough of us, do you think we could rent out a whole hotel? We'd have to have like conference rooms and stuff, right? How would it work? Like, there's quite a few people. You could get quite a few people in a hotel, right? So everyone can have their rooms, and then we could put stuff in the rooms. And then, to be fair, actually, I went to a crepe party once upon a time, and he had like the hotel, and they had like little bits and stuff in the hotel, which is really cute. So we could do something like that, but then I want kind of like the everyone together kind of aspect as well. I don't know. Anyway, you guys drop ideas, because one day, God willing, it will happen, and that would be really cool. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys. Love you. Bye.